I'm not ashamed.
Why were the women who came to Jesus' tomb not to be afraid? This is the question that we seek to answer today as we continue our verse-by-verse study of the book of Matthew on walking through the Bible.
The glory of his cross.
If you have a Bible with you, turn to Matthew chapter 28. We're going to be reading from verses 1 to 10. If you don't have a Bible, don't worry. Just follow along with us on the screen. The version that we'll be reading from is the New King James Version. So, Matthew chapter 28, beginning at verse 1. Now after the Sabbath, as the first day of the week began to dawn, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. And behold, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat on it. His countenance was like lightning, and his clothing as white as snow. And the guards shook for fear of him and became like dead men. But the angel answered and said to the women, "Do not be afraid, for I know that you seek Jesus who was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen, as he said. Come see the place where the Lord lay. And go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead, and indeed he is going before you into Galilee. There you will see him. Behold, I have told you." So they went out quickly from the tomb with fear and great joy, and ran to bring his disciples word. And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, "Rejoice!" So they came and held him by the feet and worshipped him. Then Jesus said to them, "Do not be afraid. Go and tell my brethren to go to Galilee, and there they will see me." In our last episode, we dealt with the burial of Jesus as well as the sealing of the tomb. Jesus died at 3 p.m. on Friday and was buried before sundown. Sometime after sundown, the Pharisees approached Pilate and asked that Jesus' tomb be guarded, for Jesus had prophesied that he would be raised from the dead, and they didn't want the disciples coming and stealing the body and professing that Jesus had in fact been raised. Little did they know that by doing this, when Jesus actually was raised from the dead, that made their argument that Jesus' body had been stolen less believable. So now we come to the events of the first day of the week. Like it is with Jesus' crucifixion, all four Gospels gives us different details about the resurrection that has confused some as to the timeline. Since we will be, the Lord willing, studying each book, we're going to stick to Matthew's account for now and harmonize the resurrection stories, the Lord willing, when we study them in the book of John. The Sabbath day, Saturday, is now over, and the first day of the week would have already begun at sundown. It was now around dawn on the first day of the week, and Mary Magdalene and the other Mary came to see the tomb. Why would they come? Were they expecting the resurrection? No, for according to Mark 16, verse 1, they came to further anoint the body of Jesus. Recall that Jesus was buried quickly before sunset on Friday. Mary Magdalene and the other Mary had seen what had occurred and obviously thought that what was done was insufficient, so they prepared to do a better job. Why did they wait until dawn the first day of the week? Because the day before was the Sabbath day, and no work was to be done on that day. And once the first day of the week began at sundown, on what we would call Saturday night, it was too dark to do anything, so these women had to wait until it was light outside, the earliest possible time to anoint the body of Jesus. Either along the way or as they arrived near the tomb, there was a great earthquake, for an angel of the Lord descended from heaven and rolled away the stone from the tomb and sat on it. Although the other four Gospels mentioned that the stone had been rolled away, only Matthew mentions the earthquake. As far as how Matthew described this angel, he said that his countenance was like lightning and his clothing as white as snow. When we use the word countenance, we're usually talking about the face only, but in the original language it would refer to the whole person or their appearance. So Matthew is saying that the whole appearance of the angel was like lightning and his clothing as white as snow. If we were there, we would probably say that this angel appeared exceedingly bright. The guards that were placed there to either prevent a risen Jesus from escaping or the disciples from stealing the body were standing there shaking and became like dead men in the presence of this angel, for they had obviously seen nothing like this in their lives. The angel, though, spoke to the women and told them not to be afraid, for the man that they sought, the crucified Jesus, was not here, but risen from the dead. To prove it to them, the angel invited the women to come and see where the body was laid, something they witnessed late Friday afternoon. The last instruction the angel gave these women was to go and tell the disciples what they had seen, and that Jesus would go before them into Galilee, and there they would see him. When they came to the tomb, the moods were likely somber, for they were expecting to find a dead body. But when they left to tell the disciples, they left with fear and great joy. Along the way, Matthew tells us that Jesus appeared to them, telling them to rejoice. They fell down at his feet and worshipped him. After this, he gave them the same instruction as the angel, that they were to go to the disciples and tell them to meet him in Galilee. With that, our time is up for today. Lord willing, we hope you'll join us for tomorrow's discussion in Matthew 28, verses 11 to 20, as we continue our walk through the Bible, one verse at a time.
I'm not ashamed.
Thank you for watching today's episode. We hope that you found it edifying and ask that you not only subscribe to our channel and podcast, but that you like and share this episode among your friends, so that the saving gospel of Jesus Christ can go out to the whole world.
Of his cross.